Hi, I'm Holly Higgins. I'm a friend of Jackie's. We know each other because we're neighbours, and I wanted to interview her about her experiences in the war because I know she has this incredible ability to recall details, which is really fascinating to me.
Hello, my name's Jackie Usher, and it was 2 weeks before my 9th birthday when war was declared. Let's go out for a walk, there's horses in the field. And suddenly there was this terrific noise of a dogfight right over our heads. It just happened. And the planes were swooping right down over us, and we hid under, or didn't hide, we sheltered under a bough. But we were looking up, my brother was thrilled to bits. Mrs. Smith 109! And I think we were about 10 and 6 then. And of course the fight went on, and finally the German plane was shot down, and the Spitfire pilot waggled his wings at us and then flew off. But we were thrilled because the German plane seemed to us it came down in the next field. And Ivor rushed to the gate, and he rushed out of the field, but a man caught him in his arms, a field labourer, and he said, "Where do you think you're going, son?" "I want to see the public." No, he said, and anyway, he said, "It's miles away, it's in Hornchurch or Aerodrome, it's not in the next field," but we knew it was, but he made us go home. But he said, "Remember, history's been made today, you've seen the few." Because that's what they're called. And I had an uncle who was one of the few, and that's who saved our lives, saved our bacon in World War II. If it hadn't been for those poor young boys, and most of them were about 18 to 20, and so many of them were killed. But Don, the uncle I knew, who was a bit older than most, he loved his Spitfire. He said he'd far rather be in a Spitfire than in an air raid on the ground. It used to happen over our heads all the time, these dogfights. You see the trails and the planes would scream down and whiz round. Yeah. The Germans were 20 miles away over the channel, waiting to land. And our fighters had to go out and intercept them. They were the lords of the air, and they were the lads who had a full English breakfast before they set off. I saw the second Great Fire of London, and we lived at least 5 miles away in Chapel Heath, the other side of Ilford. But Dad said to me, we heard all this first of all, there were fire engines clanging past our place, and Dad said they're going to London. And Dad said, we'll come up to your bedroom, we should see something. We came up and went up to my bedroom and stood in the window, and the whole of the sky was red, with sort of grey clouds and red lit clouds, and then yellow in the centre, and we could clearly see St Paul's Cathedral silhouetted against all this, because most of the buildings around it were down, all down. But the Germans were after the docks, and by gun they got the docks, and many firemen lost their lives. Nanny Knight was my father's mother. The truth that she used to tell the cards, the ordinary playing cards, and always was right. And there was a time when she wouldn't go and visit anybody or let anybody visit her. And in the end, my father went to see her, and he asked her why. And she said, in the end, that every time she cut the pack, the ace of spades came up, so she knew she was going to be killed, and she didn't want anybody with her. The very last flying bomb of the war, as I remember it, the 14th of December 1944. This flying bomb circled London 3 times. This Doodlebug, as they did, all the way round London. And there was a direct hit on her house. When Dad came home, he dashed out to do it. Mum said, "You'll never get over there because transport wasn't easy." And it was gone 6 o'clock then. And he said, "I'll get a taxi." And he got a taxi all the way. Also, when he got there, they said they wouldn't let him in. And he said, "That's my mother. And I'm a warden like you. I'm going to get her out." And he got through the tape and he started pulling the rubber with his bare hands. And of course, then they came to help him. And when they took her out, she was absolutely intact from under the kitchen table. But her nose, of course, it was the dust, and the shock and the blast had killed her. She was all covered in dust.